What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got another Mustang that just showed up. So
I wake up, flex on down that check. No drip is wet, tell 'em run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it on.
this is my buddy Johnny's Mustang, aka Never Scared. It's a 2017 twin turbo car, RPG engine. Just got it in. It actually just broke it in too, so it's hitting the dyno a couple days after this. We got to get some work done to it so we can hit the dyno and make some power. It's got a 6R80 converted to 4R200, and yeah, it's a bad bitch. So this is Johnny's car. This thing is freaking sweet. Yeah, it is super clean. So let me show you guys what we got for it. So he's stepping up his boost control, the Motion Raceworks CO2 kit. Got some Steeda springs with a spacer because he runs 315/50 in the back and starting to rub. So he's switching to some Steeda springs and a little bit thicker spacer on top. And then we've got the motion kit for the CO2. And where is it? Decided to go with the AMS 1000. Now, I've had really good luck with my AMS 1000. A lot of people are starting to do the 2000 just because the data logging that you can do, and it hooks up via laptop, whereas that just data logs on the screen. So the AMS 2000's definitely got its benefits. You can fine tune it a little better, but I've honestly had really good luck with AMS 1000, and it's about half the price. So I'm still running a 1000 on mine. I don't think I'll switch anytime soon until I switch to like an aftermarket ECU, but I've had really good luck with the 1000. It's pretty user friendly. Everything's on the screen. And so yeah, we're gonna get all that installed on his car this weekend, because like I said, he's hitting the dyno next week. His car's been down for a little bit because he was waiting on an engine, but now it's got RPG engine. So it's a twin turbo, it's a Helion sleeper kit. I'll show you guys here in just a second. But it's a super clean, fast street car. It's about to be even faster. It's already got trans brake, bump box in there. It's got a smooth stage in the glove box. Right now it's on an e-boost, so he's switching to AMS 1000 and doing the CO2 control just for a little bit better control with the car. So yeah, it's a Helion sleeper kit, so you can't see shit. Yeah, pretty clean setup. Triple pump. I'm not sure what injector size is on it, but he had a stereo in here. He had some amp wires and stuff, so we'll get that all pulled out. But yeah, it's a super clean car. Pretty excited. Lund tuned. I think Dakota at Lund actually tunes it, so it runs really good. Like I said, they just got done breaking in the engine, so put a boost controller on it, get some suspension parts on it, and we're gonna test out the AMS 1000. We got to test, make sure everything works, make sure scramble works, make sure the time ramp works once we get it all hooked up. So we just got to get going on it. RPG. We got some of the interior removed, just kind of seeing where everything's wired at. He's already got his smooth stage in here, so since the AMS 1000 you have to change it on the actual screen itself, you don't plug it in with a laptop. I'm going to set it in here facing the driver, but you do have to leave some wires because he's probably going to need to be able to pull it up. So I think this sounds, I don't know, this is how mine was done, but I velcroed mine so that I could pull it up closer to me and then switch it on the fly. So let me grab it. So essentially the MS will probably like sit against that inside cover or just flat on the bottom, but I'll Velcro it so that he can pull it up to himself, change it, and then Velcro it back. That's what I can think of as the easiest way. That way, because if I screw it down, then he's gonna have to remove the screws each time, or like put some pins in there. They're kind of small, so you couldn't even really put like release pins or anything in there. So we're probably just gonna, honestly, once this is all back together, Velcro it to the bottom or Velcro it to the inside up there and just leave a little bit extra wire so you can pull it up about here, so it's easier instead of having to like reach in there and mess with it. So I got some Delphi connectors, but my tool to crimp those little guys didn't come in yet. So what I'm gonna do is figure out how long of the wires I need, and then we're gonna actually take to Streetcar Joe's, have him, or we'll borrow his tool to crimp those, and then we'll come back and start running everything. So right now, because I don't want to waste too much time going to Joe's, I'm just gonna figure out how long the wires need to be, leave them a little extra long, and then get ends of these crimped, because when they go into the AMS 1000, they just actually have little connectors on there, and they just go onto the screws. So yeah, pretty nifty little guy. Alright guys, so I didn't have the tool for these Delphi style connectors, so I had to go to Mr. Streetcar Joe's, and so I got those done. So that's your increase and decrease solenoid. It's got a nice plug on that, and then there's the other end to it. Obviously we'll put some heat shrink or some wire loom around it once we get it installed, but got that one done, and then the other one's here somewhere. I made one for the dome pressure sensor. I don't remember where I set it though. There it is. Alright, so then we got one for the dome pressure sensor. Got that one done. That way everything's nice and plug and play. So got those done. Now essentially I'm gonna get the car jacked up and start working from the bottom. I wanted to get those two done because these two will be underneath the car somewhere. Obviously the dome pressure sensor, he's got a mid-mount kit or a sleeper kit, whatever, so the turbos are at the bottom, so the gates are going to be at the bottom of the car. So that's why I wanted to knock this one out first, so we can get the dome pressure sensor on there, and then we'll see where we're going to mount the solenoids. Obviously those will be outside the car somewhere, underneath the car in the engine bay. So I want to get that stuff mounted, get the smaller springs in, and then start kind of figuring out where I'm going to run the wires, and then we'll run the wires up through the center console, which I got torn apart earlier, which you guys saw, and then that way we can start just running the wires back here and get everything going. Why? What is up with people and running power cords underneath cars? Makes no sense. Almost looks like stereo wire. So let's see if Johnny wants to redo that. That's kind of, at least they put a rubber grommet there. But I just don't know how I feel about power wires underneath cars running next to the fuel tank. But whatever, it's not my deal. And maybe.
I'll be back.
Okay, bye, good luck. Henry's out here slinging homes. Oh, just some good old driveway wannabe mechanic action. So we're gonna take the O2 sensors off, drop the downpipes so we can get access to the gates. We've got to put a smaller spring in there, pull all the vacuum lines out and reroute them with hard lines, CO2, and yeah, do streetcar shit, you know? My streetcar friends in my streetcar driveway. There's a real streetcar over there, you know what I'm saying? So, alright, driveway mechanic at its finest. And the rocks feel pretty good on my back. It's like a massage. This is POV O2 sensor removal. Baby. And bam! Alright, we're done for the day. Okay, just kidding. We're back in action. Alright, so this is the E-Boost solenoid that he's running. He's running an E-Boost. So the harness I was showing you I made earlier, this is the harness that was on there before. So the only problem with these is they can get water in them because they're just like barely together. And there's nothing really sealing them together. And then these, you know, obviously if you tug on them, they kind of just slide out. So no big deal. Get that out of here. These plastic tees, I don't really like those plastic tees. I mean, they work, but man, you tug on them once and they break, as you can see. So if you do run plastic tees, I remind you guys, just go upgrade them with some metal ones. It's not that much more expensive. Or do the nice hard plastic lines that we're about to do that's used for CO2. Those are always the better option. Not that these don't work, but it's always the better option. So just trying to get kind of some of the old stuff out of the way so I can figure out how I'm gonna run some lines down. And I believe, I thought this was for his amp, but I think this is actually for the fuel because he pulled the amp power cable and it's over there and it's unplugged and obviously the car drove. So I think this is actually for the fuel, which kind of looks like a amp wire, but that'll work. It's just sending power to the distribution block back there, so it's no big deal. And then he's got this guy, if I can grab it, the hoses. So these will tell your other fuel pump, whichever you have it hooked to. This will tell your other fuel pump to turn on under vacuum. Usually they have like the rating on the side, but anyways, they sell these in like 3, 5, or 8, just whatever PSI you want. But typically these will just turn on under 3 or 5 pounds of boost. So I've run these before. They're good for street cars because it keeps the fuel pumps off if you don't need them, if you're not under watt or under boost. That way you're not running those fuel pumps all the time because it is kind of hard on them. However, I have had one of these go out on me, these little Honeywell switches. So we're gonna have to get a fitting to make that go in to the new lines we're doing, but that's just kind of how the old system was ran. So just keep making way on this. Slow, there we go. Up, just kidding. Slight issue. It's a little bigger. I'm gonna go see, don't mind my holy glove. I'm gonna go see if I can find these locally, which is gonna be pretty tough. So, to be continued. Alright, so unfortunately, the fittings that normally come in all the CO2 kits are 1/8 inch NPT, because that's like the most common, but these are smaller TurboSmart 38mm gates. And I think they're made specifically for the Helion kit, so they're 16th inch NPT. So, of course, no one local carries that. So I had to expedite some, and they won't be here till Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's okay because I reached out to Johnny, and they actually moved his dyno day. So we're just gonna get everything done on the car this weekend still, and then when those come in, we'll throw those in. I'll already have their lines mostly ran. I'll probably just make them a little long, or I may wait to run the lines just to make sure they're exact, but we gotta wait till those come in to finish that. So I'm working on mounting the bottle. I decided to mount the bottle up top here, that way he has all the open space of the trunk. It's kind of dirty in here right now, but that way he has all of his trunk space still. The only thing that sucks is typically you mount those to like your cage, but he doesn't have a cage yet, but he is gonna get one soon, so I didn't want to make something too permanent, like get a bracket made or anything, so just mounted it up there with some locking washers, some grade 8 hardware, so that should hold it just fine. And then I did it this way, obviously, because this is the side that's going to have the tightening knob, and then I left enough room so that he can see the gauges. So let me put the bottle together with the regulator on there with the gauges and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, we are back working on Johnny's car. So today I'm going to yesterday I did a lot of running around getting parts that I needed, figuring out that we were missing some fittings or the right fitting sizes. So today we're just going to try and knock everything out. I'm about to mount the boost solenoid up here. I'm going to put it up here. That way it doesn't get dirty or damaged. And then that way, if for some reason the solenoid goes out, he can replace them pretty easy. So I'm putting them right here. And then we'll run the harness back, start running some vacuum lines, and then I need to take the wastegate off one of them, tap it for the dome pressure sensor, and then we'll run that wire up into the center console, and then we can actually start wiring up the boost controller and make sure it's got power. Alright, so we got the top of the gate out, so I'm going to drill a small pilot hole, and then 21/64 I believe is for 1/8 inch NPT. And so then we'll tap it, and that'll be it for the dome pressure sensor. We'll put the 3-pound spring in there, get that all tightened up, and then start wiring up the dome pressure sensor.